5 major One Piece news. And this is what I said last night on my Twitter page, on my X page. A live reaction to this uploaded on the Cole Plus YouTube channel, link in the box below, when Jump Fest was over and the news had just dropped.
Now, I tell you what, I like you and I want you.
Wit Sutio and Netflix are going to remake the One Piece anime. East Blue with modern animation and good pacing will be epic. New fans that have got into One Piece from the live action don't need to jump to 1999 anime quality. This also gives us seasoned fans even more great material to look forward to. I think this is a great move. This is likely not a DBZ Kai, but a complete remake. Insane.
Madness!
And as you see here, the One Piece is going to be made in collaboration with Shueisha, Toei Animation, Fuji Television, Wit Studios, and Netflix. The One Piece!
The One Piece!
Somehow, some way, the story finds a way to continue to get much higher. And like I said before in my post, I think this is a pretty damn good idea. Now, there are some people that are against it, but the fact that in of itself, Netflix has the confidence to not only remake the One Piece anime, start from the East Blue, but also with Wit Studios, where if you don't know, they have done some amazing work for Attack on Titan, Season 1 of Vinland Saga, which is one of my all-time favorite series, and Osama Ranking. The Ring of Kings, shout out to my boy Boji. If you know, you know. The whole point here is that this is actually, I think, very exciting news because number one, some folks may see my tweet as a dig on the original 1999 anime, but I'm not trying to dig at all. More so in the sense that people who are trying to get into One Piece, new fans, because there's been a swell of new fans for the One Piece series, I think because of the live action success. And a lot of people are like, okay, well, where's One Piece? Where can I watch the anime from, the original anime? And when you see the anime, it is a massive compendium of episodes that goes for, as of now, 1,088 episodes. The manga series has exceeded 1,100 chapters. And even though there is something like One Piece, which does cut out a lot of the added anime content for the episodes, which makes it more streamlined. Because it's cutting out so much material, a lot of One Piece fans are going to find it very controversial. A fan-made project that removes a lot of the added dialogue and added fight scenes, not just whole filler arcs, and it's not necessarily seen in a very good light by many people that have caught up to the original One Piece anime and the manga. This version of One Piece, the One Piece, or One Piece Kai, or Two Piece, I want to roll with it. This version of One Piece is going to be officially made, and because big names Shueisha, Toei, Fuji Television, Wit Studios, Netflix, because they're behind its production, we can easily assume that there's going to be a lot of monetary investment for it to succeed, and particularly on the part of Netflix, where they saw the success of the One Piece live action Season 1, where it was in the top 3, I want to say actually number 1 globally for a 3-week time period or 2-week time period. So they see that success, and in their minds, they want to try and milk the cash cow, the massive cash cow that is One Piece. And as the live action continues on its road, a lot of One Piece fans, particularly the new One Piece fans, are going to springboard over to the updated version of the One Piece anime that's also just started, the One Piece. So there is a lot of potential for a very good One Piece symbiotic relationship between the One Piece live action and the One Piece. It's not to say that the 1999 anime is bad. No, not at all. But it's going to be updated. Just how Hunter x Hunter had an original version that came out years ago in the 1990s, and then now you have an updated 2011 version. And it's not to say that that version of Hunter x Hunter is bad. No, it's just that you have an updated, newer version, and a lot of folks are going to gravitate towards that, not double back over to the original 1990 version. And Hunter x Hunter is still ongoing. The same thing goes for, let's say, Dragon Quest, The Adventure or Die, where that had a 1991 version, and then there was one that came out in 2020. And so I see this in a very similar light here. Given its very, very likely success, let's go full screen for a second here, okay?
Okay.
Given its very likely success, there is a good chance that this will continue on years to come, even long after the manga, long after the anime is done. The One Piece will continue its run, and it will continue to produce high quality material up until it also reaches the final stage of the story and ultimately its conclusion. And it's not to say that Toei Animation, their version, is going to be booty cheeks in comparison, nor is it to say that Toei themselves are going to dial back what they've been doing so far, because Wano Country has been absolutely outstanding with animation. But right now, you can see here,
Look here!
this is so much in the beginning stages that they're even starting to recruit people at this point in time, like as of today, and I quote, from Wit Studios themselves, "Dear One Piece fans, the One Piece will start. To all creators, we need everyone's help in order to excite people all over the world with the classic story of this Japanese treasure, One Piece. Would you like to participate in this project and engrave your name on the film? Which studio is looking forward to your participation? Representative, Director, and President Takeshi Wada." So they're starting to recruit people in the hopes of making this project a tremendous success now. So there's a good chance that we won't get any of this stuff, let's say, up until 2025. Maybe even, let's say, 2026. We may have these episodes be 30 minutes long or an hour long, like a normal Netflix show, likely using either a different soundtrack, and I do wonder if it's gonna be the same voice actors and actresses or not.
まずは仲間集めだ。10人は欲しいな。
Because even though we hear Mayumi Tanaka at the end of the promo for the One Piece, come 2025, 2026, they may opt for somebody else because she's doing so much work for the character Luffy across so many mediums, even did the dubbing for Luffy in the live action. And this includes every One Piece mainstay character. To have another major role in 2025 or 2026, isn't that too much work? So this is where you can argue now some of the negative aspects of this come into play. And so with everything I said so far, there seems to be a lot more positives to this than negatives. There are some folks that are like, wait, this seems really dumb. Like, why would they do One Piece again? And I think the best argument I've heard against the One Piece series existing is the idea that it diminishes the ongoing Toei version of the anime, where technically speaking, the 1999 version of the anime is the ongoing anime version that's on Crunchyroll, that's airing on televisions and so on and so forth. The animators, directors, storyboard, everyone that was a part of the creation of those past episodes might feel like in some ways their content is being diminished because in the future there'll be, quote, updated content, quote. But once again, like I said before, the animation that we've seen in Wano Country has been just otherworldly, and I'm not even too sure if you have a remake of, let's say, Wano Country in the year 2040 something, even at that point, that updated version may not be on the same level as what we see with Toei Animation and Wano Country as of recent. One. Two, right now, it's just the East Blue Saga stuff, and that part is years away. All the while, the Toei Animation is going to be moving along full steam. So by the time they even start this East Blue arc for the One Piece, we could be done with the current arc in both the manga and the anime. And considering Netflix's scheduling for anime production, this won't be an ongoing show like the original anime of One Piece. It'll be more seasonal, a year or two before we even get to, let's say, the Grand Line portion of the One Piece, and that could easily be in 2028 or 2029. So in a pre-time skip sense, think about how long it'll take us to get to Marineford.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Three is that updated versions of previous arcs already exist, and they're called the episode specials, like episode of Nami or episode of Skypiea. They already exist, and I've never heard those episode specials diminishing the overall quality of the One Piece anime because they're higher quality, better animated episodes of Skypiea or the East Blue. In fact, I'd argue that episode of Skypiea is definitively worse than the original Skypiea arc. And there's a chance here that this could also apply to the One Piece's versions of these arcs. I think the vast majority of One Piece fans, both old and new, and people that have been so afraid to get into the series because of the gigantic hurdle it takes to catch up to One Piece, those excuses over the next few years are going to go out the window. The live action is one of them, but then now you're gonna have another version, an updated version of the anime without a doubt. And any other IPs that Netflix has access to in the future could also get anime remakes. Like we do know that there is a live action show out right now. I don't know how good or bad it is just yet, but if it is a success, they may consider doing a full-blown Yu Yu Hakusho anime remake. And of course, by default, with that success, they may try and gain future IPs for anime and do the same thing. A lot of folks will be down for the cause for an Ippo remake. Toriko! Oh. Okay, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, bro. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, bro.
この世のすべての食材に感謝を込めて。
Woo! So look, this is great news. The One Piece is real. I will be covering, of course, I'll be covering it in spades. As a live action continues its greatness, I'm looking forward to seeing so many different scenes, the walk up on Arlong Park in the new Wit Sutio style. Things like Shanks' conquers hockey on the Lord of the Coast. Things like Zoro versus Mihawk. Nami's cry to help for Luffy. Sanji bowing as he leaves the Body restaurant. Oh my god, bro. Monkey D. Dragon pulling up on Smoker. The lightning bolt saving Luffy. The barrel kicking. Yeah, dude, there are so many things that I think are going to be outstanding in an updated, higher quality style of animation that a lot of people are going to be way more comfortable en masse and embracing and enjoying compared to the old style. Not to say that the old style will not be good or ever deemed good again. No, that's not true. But people absolutely want their updated fix. You can play games on an old PC, but if you can get the latest and greatest high-tech custom-made PC to play the latest greatest games, people will opt for the latter rather than the former. But let me know your stance on the comment section down below. The One Piece is real. The One Piece is... This dude. I'm going to see you guys on the flip side. Everyone, take care. Stay safe. Have a nice one.
See you. Bye bye.